Tell us your customer from hell.
I have a bit of a nuanced answer to this, and I want to tell you why. So this is my least favorite kind of customer. It's the customer that has been oversold on the product that you get, and they have all these expectations, or they purchased way too many features and will not be utilizing those. And you still have to try to justify some healthy KPIs in that sense. You can push a business as far as you can, but ultimately the business is going to determine their objectives, and you need to align your solution to help them resolve for those. So even if it's you identifying that a business has a specific goal and that your solution can help them accomplish that, and relaying that back to your champion, it's the business that decides it. So I've had instances where just feature overload, and they're overpaying. They're a small to medium, they're paying for an enterprise package, and it's the hardest conversation to have because your job is to justify their purchase when you don't believe in their purchase. So that's my hell. I am a really bad liar. Like I can't do it.
Do you believe that's the mandate? Do you believe that you're supposed to lie if they're oversold?
I don't think so. Personally, I don't feel right doing that. I feel like getting them in a contract that's better. Like if our solution is going to solve for you at a lower level in a better way, I'd rather take the churn on that. I may be alone in that, but it doesn't set up for long-term success. And what it does set up for is a total churn of the account when they finally get fed up with paying for way too much and not accomplishing what they set out to accomplish. So it's like a rock in a hard place situation, and that is my hell.
I will assume that this doesn't occur at DocuSign. It seems like it's a relatively mature organization. And so assume this occurs at a younger company with less process. Mm-hmm. What's the cure? Because I've seen this before, and what I've seen work is, okay, we'll put a pretty big bonus on a salesperson's incentive plan for renewals.
Yeah. Okay.
Is that, do you feel like that's part of it? Is that a really big piece of it?
So are you asking what's the tactical cure or what's the strategic cure so this doesn't happen again at the org?
Well, shit. That's a great answer. Strategic, right? It's scalable cure, not specific to any one instance.
I think you're right. I think the AE needs to be tied to some kind of retention number. That is the only solution. That is the only way they'll sell the right thing, because they'll have to go back and resell that thing in 1 to 3 years. So in your typical SaaS model. So I think 100% it comes back to, if sales and customer success are aligned, this tends not to happen. So that's my solution in a perfect world, right?
What would your tactical answer have been?
My tactical answer would have been, you may have to take a little turn to get the customer in a situation where they're going to be successful in the future. And that's a hard conversation to have and hard to accept. If you're always want to win, it's going to affect your comp. That's some hard things to deal with. But the alternative is great. So we renewed one time, but then they're going to churn in 3 more years. Like that doesn't make sense to me. So tactically, you need to have a hard conversation with your customer and be like, this is what you actually use. This is what you don't need. And here's the problems we can actually solve if we get you in the right kind of contract.
I don't think that's do you think that's a hard conversation? I think that with the customer, it's easy to say, hey, look, I'm here advocating for you.
With the customer, you're right. You're right. It's easier with the customer. It's hard to have with probably
internally.
Sales and your business. Yeah. To justify churn is a difficult conversation, but
I think everybody feels that pain, right?
I agree.
Everybody at home is nodding their head vigorously.
If you're a CSM that has some level of empathy, you definitely have felt that at some point, I feel like.
I don't even think it's just empathy. I think it is the long-term play.
Absolutely. Right? Yeah.
It's like lying on your Tinder profile as a dude saying you're 6'4" when you're really like 5'6". Like that's not a long-term play.